Okay, the left, liberals in the media, little blue checks on their Twitter feed. They're going crazy right now over a speech given by Senator Marco Rubio, Republican, on the floor of the Senate. I know, we could have said that any day of the week for the last 40 years with a different senator's name in there, as long as it says Republican. But here's what they're angry about this time.
Our work is at its best when it's focused on what people care about. Let me tell you what people care about. They don't care as much about buying solar panels and electric cars as they do not having to live in a community where violent crime is rampant and you've got some crazy prosecutor that refuses to put people in jail, that refuses to prosecute entire categories of crime. People are worried about that, and rightfully so, and it's happening. We have these beautiful cities that were once world-class cities that have become unlivable all over this country because we have these lunatic prosecutors that have decided the entire categories of crime they will not prosecute. That's the kind of stuff we should be working on here tonight, all night long. You're going to spend all night working on something, work on that. Don't waste time on stuff that doesn't matter to real people working every single day who are not going to be driving an electric car next year or the year after that, but they might get mugged, but they might be a victim of a violent crime. And so what this does is it sends to the Judiciary Committee and asks them, in 3 days, come back with some ideas about how you can spend just a little bit of these billions of dollars that we're throwing away on this garbage, how we can spend a little bit of that money to put criminals in jail so Americans no longer have to live in fear in their communities.
So there you go. Pretty common sense stuff, right? Like violent criminals are out on the streets and running mayhem all over our city neighborhoods. We know that. It's happening in your neighborhood, isn't it? Well, Marco Rubio took to Twitter. He put that speech out there, and here's how he framed it. The Democrats just blocked my effort to try and force Soros-backed prosecutors to put dangerous criminals in jail. Well, you see the problem there, right? I mean, clearly that is anti-Semitic. No, really. That's what they're saying. Look, here's Randi Weingarten. She's the president of the Teachers Union. Boy, they really do a great job, don't they? This is how anti-Semitism takes root and spreads. What is a Soros-backed prosecutor? Now, I'm no teacher at the state-run schools, but Soros-backed prosecutor, I believe, would be a prosecutor backed by Soros. Soros is a Hungarian Jew who survived the Holocaust. Orban, the authoritarian leader of the... What does this got to do with Orban? Orban, the authoritarian leader of Hungary, demonizes Soros all the time in Orban's culture war to suppress freedom and democracy. All right, fine. That's Randi Weingarten. I mean, she's just a little, right? But surely she's the only one who's taking this position, isn't she? Kathleen Smith. When Rubio says Soros-backed prosecutors, what he's really saying is Jews. Here's another one. Jonathan Reiner, MD. Hey, Senator, Soros-backed prosecutors, do you mean us Jews? Being a lapdog is very on brand for you. Apparently now you're a lapdog for anti-Semites. What is happening here? And there's more, look. Joyce Aileen says Soros-backed prosecutors, sometimes the dog whistle is just outright anti-Semitism. And it went on and on and on. Marco Rubio saying we're trying to stop Soros-backed prosecutors as anti-Semitic. They were all saying it. All right, listen, we want to get to the bottom of these things. We certainly don't like anti-Semitism. We like Marco Rubio, but he'd be saying something that's anti-Semitic. We got to get to the bottom of it. So we did a little fact check on this. We did some searching. We tried to figure out, where did this start? What was the origin of this whole George Soros backs these prosecutors thing? And we found it. We're happy to show you. We found it. It's right here. Why I support reform prosecutors. By the way, we have to translate a little bit here, this leftist language. Reform prosecutors means they don't prosecute violent criminals. They don't make them pay bail. They put them back on the streets and they ignore lots of violent crimes. Reform. Why I support reform prosecutors. Justice or safety. It's a false choice. They reinforce each other. And look who wrote this. George Soros. George Soros wrote this. This was like a week ago in the Wall Street Journal. George Soros actually said he's backing these prosecutors. In San Francisco, one of these guys, Chesa Boudin, he's already been recalled by voters in San Francisco. And the same thing's happening in Los Angeles and George Gascon. So that's truth. That's a reality. And George Soros has admitted that he's backing these guys. The real takeaway from all of this is when Marco Rubio points it out, and points a finger at George Soros for doing this, the left, the liberals, Randi Weingarten, these people in the media, they're angry at Marco Rubio, and they're not angry about violent crime. What does that tell you? Whose side are they on?